let's hear it from El Boogie.
Hey people, how y'all doing? This is El Boogie Speaks 2. Coming to you from the Stonecrest Mall area of, I guess it's Stonecrest community. I wanted to speak to you guys briefly about a topic that's been heavy on my mind. And it's about having a code and being held accountable to that code. Now, in my last video, we were speaking about how the tongue is a little member, but used improperly, it can kindle a great fire. And this conversation was with my sister Rosemary and my brother Curtis in the panel. I want to continue on, but in a different way, and I want to talk about a code and accountability. We as a people have no code. We have no code of conduct, and we think that we're individuals and we could basically behave like we please. And right now we're at a crucial point in our history as a people in America, and nothing is ever going to change and work in our favor until we have a code of conduct and follow that code and hold those accountable that don't follow the code. Okay, we think we could say what we want that's not productive to the cause, and we could do whatever the hell we want to do. Use an example, and I'm gonna be probably talking about this for the next few years. This past election, whereas a group, B1, the group I belong to, Black First, was trying to convince other black voters at large that we couldn't continue to do what we have always done the last 50 years, expecting a different result. So they we were suggesting that we go to both sides, and whichever side produce what we need, or promise to produce what we need as a people, then that is the candidate we would support. But you had the great majority of black people that still wanted to continue to support the Democratic Party and to continue not to get nothing or anything. That we have to have a code. It's crucial to the point whereas we've dug ourselves a hole, and we have the stick, but we don't have the actual shovel on the end of the stick to dig ourselves out, because we have a segment of African American society that, a few different segments, that think they can do what they want to do, and to hell with us as a group, because they feel like either way they'll be taken care of, when that's not going to be the case. Because those of us that want to thrive, build families and build institutions, and just reach our full potential. Everyone have different levels of dreams or whatever, but whatever your dream is, you should be able to accomplish it. And we can't do that because we're not operating as a group, where other groups in this country are operating, and they have a code of conduct. We have no code. We're just doing whatever we please. That's going to have to stop. We're going to have a code. We're going to have to stay on code. And those that don't want to stay on code, they have to be ostracized and excommunicated. We can no longer make excuses for inappropriate behavior. So what we've done as a people, and what we've come accustomed to doing as a people, is not wanting to hold people accountable for their inappropriate behavior, and not holding people accountable for their inappropriate behavior, but willing to make all kinds of excuses for inappropriate behavior. People and their character flaws, and they're allowed to have a past because of whatever reason. People are allowed to continue to make ill-advised and dumb decisions that affect a group of people, but not being held accountable. This has to stop, because our grandchildren, if we don't, are going to become they'll be part of a permanent underclass, and we have to think ahead, and we have to think rationally, and we have to do better as a people. This might not be a popular message, but a few of us are going to have to, I think it's true. I think a lot of people are waking up, the millennials and Generation Z, they're a little different because they haven't, been conditioned and to just be satisfied. Now, another example of being off code. Okay, the great majority of black voters elected President Joe Biden to his position. Okay? He has totally ignored black voters and insulted most of black voters' intelligence, those that are intelligent enough to realize they're being insulted, by signing a bill to protect Asians and Pacific Islanders and to give them millions of dollars, but then signing a bill to give the Democrat Party's base and the people that put him in office a federal holiday, Juneteenth, that is a holiday that we've already celebrated. I remember my mother, making me go with her to Juneteenth celebrations in my hometown, Wilson. So, just being we have a spirit of just being satisfied. So now you got the Negroes that supported him, some making excuses. It comes to a point where, well, that's something. That's being just satisfied with the crumbs that fall from the table. Well, if he does something that, as usual, like the Democratic, like they do when they get in there, they'll pass something under the auspices that it will help black people, but it helps everyone. We don't get anything specific to our needs that only we can benefit from. But if they do anything, the just satisfied Negroes will be like, well, that's something. That is a slave mentality that has to die. And if it doesn't die, we have to kill it by any means necessary. Because we can never move forward as a people with the mentality of we're going to support people with our vote or whatever, our mouth or whatever, and then once they reach their goal that we basically help them reach, then they treat us like we ain't nobody. Okay. On code meaning, why would you as black consumers continue to support Asian-owned businesses after you elected a president that totally ignored you and catered to them, giving them millions of dollars? Why would you step your behind in an Asian business and still spend your money with them, giving them millions if not billions of dollars, especially when it comes to black hair. Why? At some point, the old excuses aren't going to work. The old excuses are old. Can you come up with something new? Other than, well, I don't know, where else can I go? Can we come up with something new? We have to be on code. So, what are we? Are we hoes? Evidently, seem like we are hoes, because we elected a president, quote unquote we, that gave hate crime protection to one specific group and millions of dollars. And they didn't even support this president with their vote, because usually they don't vote like that, because they have their own, you know, economic institutions and whatnot. They have their own business. They have a good economic base, so they don't have to really depend on a vote. So you're gonna elect this guy president. He ignores you for another group, but then you're gonna continue to feed the other group money. So it's like you double paying them. You're paying them with your vote, and you're paying them with your dollars out of your pocket. I'm gashing up. I hope you are offended, because it's crucial to the point where there's no more need to spoon feed people what needs to be done. We're at the point where we can't afford to spoon feed people, and we can't afford to try to spare folk feelings, because they in their feelings. And really, this is not a matter of being in your feelings. It's business, and we have been handling business wrong for the longest, and we need to handle business better. We had the Democratic Party by the balls, but we continued and made a dumb decision by supporting this president without making any demands. Now, I stated in my last video that you have mistakes. People make mistakes, but as you keep making the same mistakes, it becomes a pattern, and it becomes errors. Mistake, unintentional. Errors, intentional. So I'm not at the point where I'm not going to say that making those same mistakes over and over again is, you know, coming with all kinds of excuses not to make people feel bad. It was dumb. It was dumb. It was dumb. Got all on Ice Cube, because Ice Cube is a multimillionaire. Here's what I get about. Here's where the rubber meet the road. If you have a multi-million-dollar, a guy that has millions of dollars, and he actually cares about black people, he don't have to say nothing. He could continue to make movies and do his 3-on-3 tournament and stuff like that. He don't have to put his self out there on the line for persecution or whatever. He don't have to do that. So if you have a person that has lots of money, that isn't going along with the status quo, and want to come out and say, look, I love our people. We deserve better. And let's shop our vote to whom, and not be necessarily loyal to any party, but be loyal to ourselves. Oh, but it was a problem. It was a problem. Now, oh, that was a problem. Oh, he's not a professional. He's not this and he's not that. Now look at you. I'm gashing up. I ain't gonna be long, but I'm gonna be strong. You look stupid. They need to line your asses up with a leg with a boot on it, a mechanical leg with a boot on it, and make each one of you walk by and let that boot kick you in the ass. That's exactly what needed to happen, because it was dumb. And we cannot continue, we cannot go forward in 2022 and 2024 continuing to be stupid. And I hope you're offended, because it has to stop. The Democratic Party, neither party cares about us. We have to care about ourselves and start putting ourselves first. Be one. Black first. That's what we have to do. And we have to, at some point, shrug off or get some treatment for this post-traumatic slavery disorder that has us, willing to go into stores and be physically and mentally and verbally abused because we have a self-hatred to the point where we don't want to support our own people. It has to change. Our grandkids are going to have questions. When I was growing up, it was practical and feasible that if we had critical questions for our parents for the ill-advised and dumb decisions they made, that then they could tell us not to question them, even though what they were doing was stupid. I believe people should be held accountable. Mistakes are mistakes. But if you continue to make errors that put yourself and your family and your community in a precarious situation, then something has to be done. And not holding people accountable is not going to change anything. Because what it does, it gives them a pass to continue to be dumb, and gives them and you give people back. Well, you got to forgive them. You keep forgiving them. They digging a hole for you, and eventually you fall in the hole. And I use this example before, but it's a people's mindset. Now, when the children of Israel were coming out of Egypt, and Moses gave them the 10 Commandments, it was a segment, or a great majority of them didn't want to follow the 10 Commandments, still want to do idol worship, and still had that mindset. And what good would it do if the Lord delivered them from Pharaoh, but send them into the promised land with that nonsense? So it's in the Bible. He wanted to kill them all. He wanted to kill them. But Moses interceded on their behalf. And he was like, okay, cool. But that is not going to enter into the promised land. So he had their asses to wander around in the wilderness for 40 years until their asses died out. Didn't nobody make it but I think Caleb and Joshua. 2 people out of possibly millions, because they were hard-headed. And I don't care if you don't like what I say, but we are a hard-headed people. Hard-headed and different. And it ain't just Americans, it's black people all over the world. Niggas is the same everywhere. Won't do what need to be done. Gonna do what we want to do, and then want to pass. Come up with all kinds of issues. The individuals. Back. This is part 2. I got about 5 more minutes to go. But continuing on from what I was saying, it's a bunch of nonsense, man. We can't keep giving individuals a pass. Family members, friends, community members, or whatever. You can't break generational curses. You can't move forward as a people. And as a people, we got this idea that as long as we individually doing okay, everything else is going to take care of itself. No, it's not. Because if that was the case, it would have a long time ago. It would have a long time ago. Not concerned. Nobody's concerned about their neighbor or whatever. It has to stop. We have an issue with self-hatred. Because if you're willing to go into an Asian-owned business and being mistreated and follow around like you're going to steal the damn store and not go and support black business and make all kinds of excuses why, and you make excuses because these prices or this and that, this customer service. Okay, you don't have a problem going to the white man business, paying the price. You pay whatever is on there if you want it. You pay whatever is on there. And don't complain. But it's an issue with your brother and sister. Now, I do believe we have to do better with customer service in those places and stuff like that, you know. But at the same time, we got to support each other. We don't have no damn friends. Do you understand? We don't have no friends. And if you think you do, I tell you what, go to your best white friend, those of you that have them, and ask them where they trade places with you. And see what you get. Ask them, would you play trade with, you know? Won't have no friends. Because if America really wanted to move past this issue with how we've been treated and rectify it, the average white citizen would come out for reparations and be like, look, we want to move past this. Can you go ahead on and compensate these people for what their ancestors been through and what they've been through in the past? Can you compensate them, please, so we can move forward? No, they don't want to do that because they know they have privileges and they don't want the playing field level because the playing field will be level, you know? We do a lot with a little. Imagine if we had what we needed. Well, I'm L Boogie. This is my show, L Boogie Speaks 2. And I'm gonna rename it L Boogie, the L Boogie Speaks 2 show. And it is what it is, man. You know, it's too crucial. Baby, you don't want to hand feed people and baby them. Don't want to hurt folk feeling and stuff like that. We could, you know, we're at a point where we're in a funk and we have a pattern of making bad decisions, and a pattern is just not being smart. It's being dumb. That's just what it is. Well, until I make my next video, which will be soon, I love y'all. You know, and like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button and subscribe. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. You know, it don't cost you nothing. So until we meet again, until I make another video, y'all be cool. Love each other. Peace.
The only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come.
Let's hear it from L Boogie.